Welcome to another enchanting adventure with Ingrid and Chris. Tonight, we journey to the mystical Moonlight Grove, where secrets of the moon's magic are hidden deep in an enchanted forest. Join us for this calming yet thrilling bedtime journey filled with wonder, courage, and friendship. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more dreamy tales. Once upon a time, under the silver glow of a full moon, there lay a forest known as the Mystic Moonlight Grove. It was a magical place where moonlight danced across the trees, and every creature of the forest seemed to shimmer beneath its glow. At the heart of the grove stood the moonlight tree, an ancient and wise tree whose branches reached up towards the stars. It was said that the moonlight tree held the secret to the moon's magic, and once every 100 years it would bloom with flowers of pure moonlight. This year was the year of the moonlight bloom, and the whole forest was abuzz with excitement. The creatures of the grove, from tiny glow bugs to the gentle moon deer, were preparing for the grand Moonlight Festival, a celebration of the moon's magic and the blooming of the moonlight tree. But as the full moon approached, something strange happened. The moonlight began to fade, and the grove fell into an eerie twilight. The moonlight tree, instead of glowing bright, stood dim and silent. In a small cottage at the edge of the grove lived a young girl named Eliza. Eliza had always been fascinated by the moon and its magic, and the Moonlight Festival was her favorite time of the year. When she saw that the moonlight was fading and the moonlight tree had lost its glow, she knew something was wrong. With her best friend, a curious and clever fox named Whisker, by her side, Eliza decided to find out what was happening. Eliza and Whisker made their way to the heart of the grove, where they found the moonlight tree standing still and dark, its branches drooping. The elder of the grove, a wise old owl named Orin, was perched on one of the lower branches, his feathers fluffed in worry. "Orin, what's happened to the moonlight tree?" Eliza asked, her voice filled with concern. Orin turned his large golden eyes towards her. "The Moonlight Gem, the source of the tree's magic, has been stolen," he said, his voice deep and sad. "Without the gem, the moonlight tree cannot bloom, and the moon's magic will fade from our grove." Eliza's eyes widened. She had heard of the Moonlight Gem, a crystal as bright as the moon itself, said to be guarded by the moonlight tree for centuries. Whisker, his ears perked up, asked, "Who could have taken it, Orin?" Orin sighed, his feathers ruffling. It was the shadow ravens. They flew in from the dark hollow and took the gem away. They envy the light of the moon and wish to keep it for themselves. They've hidden it in the Forgotten Cavern, beyond the grove. Eliza looked at Whisker, her heart filled with determination. "We have to get it back, Whisker. The whole grove is counting on us." Whisker nodded, his bright eyes gleaming. "Let's do it, Eliza. We can't let the grove lose its magic." With Orin's guidance, Eliza and Whisker set off towards the Forgotten Cavern. The path was long and winding, leading them deep into the darkest parts of the grove, where the trees grew thick and the shadows seemed to whisper. The deeper they went, the cooler the air became, and soon they found themselves at the entrance to the Forgotten Cavern, a dark, gaping hole that seemed to swallow all light. Eliza took a deep breath, holding Whisker's paw. "We have to be brave," she whispered, and Whisker nodded, his tail twitching. The cavern was dark and filled with echoes. As they stepped inside, Eliza held up her lantern, its soft glow casting flickering shadows on the walls. The cavern was filled with twists and turns, and strange symbols were etched into the stone. The further they went, the more they could hear the faint sound of the shadow ravens, their cawing echoing through the tunnels. Finally, they reached a large chamber at the heart of the cavern. There, perched on a rocky ledge, was the Moonlight Gem, its light dimmed but still glowing faintly. The shadow ravens, dark and sleek, were gathered around it, their eyes glowing a dull red. Whisker nudged Eliza. "We need to distract them," he whispered. Eliza nodded. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a small pouch filled with silver dust. Moonlit dust that Orin had given her. She carefully opened the pouch and blew the dust into the air. The dust sparkled, catching the light of the lantern and creating a dazzling display. The shadow ravens, entranced by the sparkling dust, turned their attention away from the gem, their eyes following the glittering light. "Now's our chance," Eliza whispered. She and Whisker quickly made their way to the ledge. Whisker, with his nimble paws, grabbed the Moonlight Gem, and Eliza held it close as they turned and hurried back towards the entrance of the cavern. The shadow ravens soon realized they had been tricked, their angry caws echoing through the cavern. Eliza and Whisker ran as fast as they could, the light of the gem guiding their way. Just as the ravens were about to catch up, they burst out of the cavern and into the grove, where the first light of dawn was beginning to break. The shadow ravens, unable to bear the light of day, retreated back into the darkness, their cawing fading into silence. Eliza and Whisker hurried back to the moonlight tree, where Orin and the other creatures of the grove were waiting. Eliza held up the Moonlight Gem, and as soon as it touched the tree's trunk, a brilliant light spread through the branches. The moonlight tree began to glow, its branches lighting up like silver stars, and beautiful moonlit flowers bloomed, their petals glowing softly in the early morning light. The creatures of the grove cheered, their voices filling the air with joy. Orin flapped his wings, his eyes shining. "You have done it, Eliza! You have saved the grove and restored the magic of the moon." Eliza smiled, her heart filled with warmth as she looked at Whisker. "We did it together," she said. That night, the Moonlight Festival was more beautiful than ever. The grove was filled with glowing flowers, and the moonlight tree shone bright, its branches covered in moonlit blooms. The creatures danced beneath the tree, their laughter echoing through the grove. Eliza and Whisker sat beneath the glowing branches, watching the moon rise high in the sky. Whisker looked up at Eliza, his eyes twinkling. "What did you wish for, Eliza?" Eliza smiled, watching as a gentle breeze rustled the glowing petals. "I wished for more adventures, Whisker, and I think we'll have plenty more." And so Eliza and Whisker saved the Mystic Moonlight Grove, proving that even the smallest heroes can protect the magic of the moon. If you enjoyed this magical adventure, please like and subscribe to join us on more bedtime journeys with Ingrid and Chris. Sweet dreams, little adventurers, and remember, courage and friendship can light up even the darkest paths.